The night sky above the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico erupted with an unprecedented burst of activity. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, lead researcher at the facility, stared at her computer screen in disbelief. The incoming signal was unlike anything she had ever seen. A clear, rhythmic pattern that couldn't be explained by any known cosmic phenomenon. "This is it," she whispered, her voice trembling with excitement. "First contact." Within hours, the news spread across the globe. Humanity held its collective breath as scientists worked tirelessly to decipher the message. After weeks of intense analysis, the contents were revealed. An invitation for peaceful communication from an advanced alien race known as the Nexians. The world erupted in celebration. Street parties filled cities, and global leaders convened emergency sessions to discuss humanity's response. Dr. Rodriguez found herself at the center of it all, advising governments and explaining the intricacies of the alien message to an eager public. 6 months later, the first Nexian ships appeared in Earth's orbit. They were sleek, almost organic in design, gleaming under the sun like polished obsidian. The aliens themselves were equally captivating. Tall, graceful beings with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of millennia. As Earth's appointed ambassador, Dr. Rodriguez led the first face-to-face meeting with the Nexian delegation. "We come in peace," the alien leader, Zaxlor, proclaimed in perfect English. "We wish to share knowledge and culture with your species." The cultural exchange that followed was nothing short of revolutionary. Nexian technology accelerated human scientific progress by decades. Medical breakthroughs eradicated diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Clean energy solutions promised to reverse climate change. However, not everyone was convinced of the Nexians' benevolence. Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force couldn't shake a feeling of unease. "It's too good to be true," she confided to her second-in-command, Major Tom Reeves. "Why would such an advanced species be interested in us?" Driven by her instincts, Captain Chen initiated a covert operation to monitor Nexian activities on Earth. For months, her team gathered data, analyzed patterns, and searched for any sign of deception. Their breakthrough came on a rainy night in Geneva. Lieutenant Amir Khan, one of Chen's top operatives, intercepted an encrypted transmission from the Nexian embassy. The message was brief, but its contents chilled him to the bone. Phase 1 complete. Humanity's defenses mapped. Commence Phase 2, planetary subjugation. Lieutenant Khan's hands shook as he relayed the information to Captain Chen. The captain's face hardened as she processed the implications. "We've been played," she said, her voice low and dangerous. "Get me a secure line to the Joint Chiefs. We need to prepare for war." As Chen rallied Earth's military forces in secret, Dr. Rodriguez continued her work with the Nexians, blissfully unaware of the looming betrayal. She marveled at the apparent openness of the aliens, never suspecting the sinister purpose behind their generous sharing of knowledge. In hidden bunkers and classified facilities around the world, humanity's defenders worked feverishly to bolster their defenses. They reverse-engineered Nexian technology, developed new weapons systems, and established a covert communication network independent of potentially compromised official channels. Captain Chen knew they were in a race against time. Every day, more Nexian ships arrived in Earth's orbit under the guise of cultural exchange. She could only watch helplessly as potential weapons of mass destruction were welcomed with open arms by an unsuspecting public. The night before the planned Nexian betrayal, Chen met with her core team in a secure underground facility. "Tomorrow, everything changes," she told them, her eyes blazing with determination. "We are humanity's last line of defense. Whatever happens, we fight until our last breath." As the sun rose on what promised to be humanity's darkest day, the people of Earth went about their lives, unaware of the nightmare about to unfold. In orbit, Nexian ships silently charged their weapon systems. On the ground, hidden infiltrators prepared to disable key infrastructure. Dr. Rodriguez arrived at her lab, excited about another day of groundbreaking research with her Nexian colleagues. As she greeted Zaxlor, she noticed an unusual tension in his posture. "Is everything all right?" she asked, concern evident in her voice. Zaxlor turned to her, his eyes cold and alien. "I'm sorry, Alina," he said, his voice devoid of the warmth she had come to know. "But your species was always meant for subjugation." Before Dr. Rodriguez could react, the world around her erupted into chaos. The Nexian betrayal had begun, and humanity's fight for survival was about to be put to the ultimate test. The Nexian betrayal. The skies above Earth's major cities darkened as Nexian warships emerged from cloaked positions. Energy beams lanced downward, targeting military installations, power plants, and communication hubs. The planet's carefully prepared defenses, infiltrated and sabotaged by Nexian agents, crumbled within hours. In New York, the Statue of Liberty toppled into the harbor as shockwaves from orbital bombardments shattered the city's skyline. Tokyo's neon-lit streets went dark as electromagnetic pulses fried electrical grids. In Moscow, the Kremlin burned, its centuries-old walls no match for alien weaponry. Dr. Alina Rodriguez watched in horror from her lab as Geneva disintegrated around her. Zaxlor, the Nexian she had considered a friend and colleague, stood impassively by her side. "Why?" she choked out, tears streaming down her face. "We trusted you." "It's simple economics, Dr. Rodriguez," Zaxlor replied, his voice clinically detached. "Your planet's resources are valuable. Your species is not." Before Elena could respond, the lab's emergency doors slammed shut. Alarms blared as the facility's auto-lockdown engaged, sealing them inside. Zaxlor's expression shifted from cold indifference to alarm. This wasn't part of the plan. Across the globe, similar scenes played out in research centers, military bases, and government buildings. Fail-safes and contingency plans, put in place by Captain Sarah Chen and her team, activated in the face of the Nexian attack. Key personnel found themselves locked down in fortified shelters, protected from both the initial assault and potential alien capture. In Washington, D.C., Captain Chen led a group of soldiers and civilians through underground tunnels beneath the Pentagon. "Keep moving," she shouted over the rumble of distant explosions. "We need to reach the Alpha Site." The Alpha Site, a top-secret facility built deep within the Rocky Mountains, had been prepared for just such a catastrophe. As Chen's group emerged from a hidden entrance into the cavernous main hall, they were greeted by organized chaos. Scientists, military personnel, and government officials worked feverishly to establish communication with other survival pockets around the world. Major Tom Reeves approached Chen, his face grim. "Citrip's coming in, Captain. It's bad. We've lost most major cities. Military response is fragmented. The Nexians have air and orbital superiority." Chen nodded, her jaw set. "What about Project Phoenix?" "Dr. Emerson and his team are all accounted for. They're setting up in Lab Complex B as we speak." "Good. That's our ace in the hole. Get me a secure line to any surviving military commands. We need to coordinate our remaining forces." As Chen worked to rally Earth's defenders, Dr. Rodriguez found herself in an unexpected alliance. The lab's lockdown had trapped her with Zaxlor and a handful of human and Nexian scientists. The aliens, cut off from their command structure, were as confused as their human counterparts. "This doesn't make sense," one Nexian researcher muttered. "We were told this was a peaceful scientific mission. Why are we attacking?" Elena's scientific mind raced, piecing together the puzzle. "You were used," she realized. "Pawns in a larger game, just like us." Zaxlor, his earlier coldness replaced by genuine distress, turned to Elena. "Dr. Rodriguez, I swear I knew nothing of this. Many of us came to Earth out of genuine curiosity and desire for exchange. We must stop this madness." Outside the lab, Geneva lay in ruins, but inside, an unlikely coalition began to form. Human and Nexian scientists, united by their shared betrayal, pooled their knowledge. If they could break out of the lockdown, they might just have a chance to turn the tide. At the Alpha site, Project Phoenix began to take shape. Dr. Samuel Emerson, a brilliant quantum physicist, led a team of Earth's brightest minds in a race against time. They worked tirelessly, fueled by desperation and the weight of humanity's survival on their shoulders. "The theory is sound," Emerson explained to Captain Chen, gesturing at a holographic display of mind-bending equations. "By exploiting quantum entanglement on a massive scale, we can create a defense network that's virtually instantaneous. No lag, no delay. We can respond to Nexian attacks the moment they happen." Chen frowned, trying to grasp the complex science. "And this will give us an edge." Emerson nodded emphatically. "More than an edge, Captain. If we can pull this off, it could be the key to driving them off our planet entirely." As the project progressed, Chen coordinated with the remaining military forces around the world. Guerrilla tactics and hit-and-run strikes kept the Nexians off balance, but it was a losing battle. Earth's defenders were outgunned and outmatched, clinging to survival by sheer determination and grit. Weeks turned into months. The Nexian occupation tightened its grip on the planet. In enslaved cities, humans toiled under alien overseers, stripped of rights and dignity. But in hidden pockets of resistance, hope refused to die. In Geneva, Dr. Rodriguez and her unlikely allies finally broke free of their high-tech prison. Armed with inside knowledge of Nexian technology and tactics, they began a dangerous journey to link up with the resistance. And deep within the Alpha site, Project Phoenix neared completion. Dr. Emerson's team worked to the point of exhaustion, knowing that each passing day meant more lives lost, more of Earth pillaged by the invaders. Captain Chen stood before a bank of monitors, watching the reports of Nexian atrocities pour in. Her fists clenched at her sides, she made a solemn vow. "This isn't over," she whispered fiercely. "We will take back our home. We will show these aliens that humanity is not so easily broken." As if in answer to her declaration, an alarm sounded from the project lab. Chen rushed in to find Emerson's team in a flurry of activity. The scientist looked up, his eyes wild with excitement and lack of sleep. "Captain," he said, a hint of awe in his voice, "we've done it. Project Phoenix is ready for its first test." Chen felt a surge of hope, tempered by caution. "And if it works?" Emerson's tired face broke into a fierce grin. "Then we take the fight to the stars." As the team prepared for the test that could change the course of the war, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The Nexians believed they had won, that Earth was theirs for the taking. They were about to learn just how resilient the human spirit could be. Project Phoenix, Earth's secret weapon. The cavernous testing chamber of the Alpha site hummed with nervous energy. Dr. Samuel Emerson's team had worked tirelessly for months, pushing the boundaries of theoretical physics to create humanity's last, best hope for survival. Now, the fruit of their labor stood before them, Project Phoenix. At first glance, the device seemed underwhelming, a series of interlocking rings surrounding a pulsing core of exotic matter. But appearances were deceiving. Within that unassuming frame lay the potential to rewrite the rules of warfare. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation window, her face a mask of tense anticipation. "Walk me through it one more time, Doctor," she said, eyes fixed on the device. Dr. Emerson nodded, launching into an explanation he'd rehearsed countless times. Project Phoenix exploits quantum entanglement on a massive scale. We've created a network of subatomic particles that are instantaneously connected, regardless of the distance between them. This allows for faster-than-light communication and, more importantly, near-instantaneous response to any threat. Chen frowned, struggling with the complex concepts. "And this will give us an advantage over the Nexians." "More than an advantage," Emerson replied, his eyes gleaming. "It could revolutionize our entire defense strategy. Imagine being able to detect a Nexian attack the moment it's launched, anywhere on the planet, and respond before their weapons even reach their targets." The captain's eyes widened as the implications sank in. That would level the playing field. It would tilt it in our favor, Emerson corrected. The Nexians rely on their superior technology and faster-than-light travel. This puts us a step ahead. A technician approached, tablet in hand. We're ready to begin the first live test, Doctor. Emerson took a deep breath, steadying himself. Initiate startup sequence. The rings of Project Phoenix began to spin, slowly at first, then with increasing speed. The core pulsed brighter, energy crackling between the rings. On screens around the chamber, data streamed in a dizzying array of figures and charts. Quantum field stabilizing. A researcher called out. Entanglement network expanding. The air in the chamber seemed to thicken, reality itself wavering as the device rewrote the fundamental laws of physics. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed as if the very fabric of space-time might tear apart. Then, suddenly, everything settled. The ring spun in perfect harmony, the core a steady, brilliant glow. Network established. Emerson breathed, barely daring to believe it. We've done it. Cheers erupted throughout the chamber. Scientists hugged each other, years of work finally bearing fruit. But Captain Chen's celebration was short-lived. Can we weaponize it? She asked, ever focused on the bigger picture. Emerson nodded, already moving to the next phase. We've prepared a series of tests. If successful, we can begin integrating Phoenix technology into our remaining defense systems. Over the next weeks, Project Phoenix exceeded even the most optimistic projections. They successfully detected and intercepted simulated Nexian attacks with unprecedented speed and accuracy. The technology was integrated into a network of hidden satellites and ground-based installations, creating a planetary defense grid unlike anything seen before. But challenges remained. The power requirements for Phoenix were enormous, and maintaining the quantum entanglement field on a global scale pushed the limits of their technology. And there was always the risk of detection. If the Nexians discovered the project before it was fully operational, all could be lost. As the Alpha site worked to bring Phoenix online, resistance cells around the world continued their desperate fight. Dr. Elena Rodriguez and her unlikely band of human and Nexian allies had successfully made contact with the Global Resistance Network. Their inside knowledge of Nexian technology and tactics proved invaluable in small-scale victories against the occupiers. One evening, as Elena pored over Nexian communication logs, she made a startling discovery. "This can't be right," she muttered, double-checking her findings. Zaxlor, the Nexian scientist who had become one of Earth's staunchest allies, looked over her shoulder. "What is it, Elena?" "These transmissions, they're not just from the invasion fleet. There's chatter from at least 3 other Nexian factions. It looks like the group that attacked us isn't acting with the full support of their government." This revelation sent shockwaves through the resistance. If the invasion wasn't a unified Nexian effort, it opened up new possibilities for diplomacy and division among the enemy ranks. Back at the Alpha site, Captain Chen received Elena's report with cautious optimism. "This could be the break we need," she told her staff. "If we can demonstrate our strength and open communications with the other Nexian factions, we might be able to end this war without total annihilation on both sides." But first, they needed to prove that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. Project Phoenix was the key. Dr. Emerson and his team worked around the clock, fine-tuning the system and expanding its reach. They faced numerous setbacks, power fluctuations, quantum field instabilities, and the constant threat of discovery by Nexian patrols. But with each problem solved, they grew closer to their goal. The breakthrough came on a quiet Tuesday morning. Emerson burst into the command center, wild-eyed with excitement. "We've done it," he exclaimed. "Full global coverage. The Phoenix network is online and stable." Chen immediately snapped into action. "Begin final diagnostics. I want every system checked and double-checked. We only get one shot at this." As the Alpha site buzzed with activity, Chen contacted resistance leaders around the world. The plan was daring in its simplicity. a coordinated global counterattack, using Phoenix to neutralize the Nexians' technological advantage. Belina and Zaxlor's team would play a crucial role, using their Nexian insider knowledge to target key weaknesses in the invaders' defenses. Other resistance cells prepared for ground assaults on Nexian strongholds, ready to strike the moment Phoenix disrupted enemy communications and weapons systems. The hours ticked by with agonizing slowness. Chen paced the command center, feeling the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. Emerson ran final checks on Phoenix, muttering equations and probabilities under his breath. As dawn broke over the Rocky Mountains, Chen took a deep breath and gave the order they had all been waiting for: initiate Operation Resurrection. Project Phoenix hummed to life, its quantum field expanding to envelop the entire planet. In orbit, hidden satellites activated, forming an invisible web of defense around Earth. The Nexians, confident in their supposed supremacy, never saw it coming. Turning the tide. The first indication that something had changed came when a Nexian patrol ship over New York suddenly lost power, plummeting from the sky before its emergency systems could engage. Across the globe, similar scenes played out as the alien invaders found their advanced technology failing in the face of Project Phoenix's quantum interference. In London, a resistance cell led by Major Tom Reeves seized the moment. They stormed a Nexian command post, easily overwhelming the confused aliens whose weapons and communication devices had suddenly become useless hunks of metal. "Beta team, move in," Reeves shouted into his radio. "The path is clear. Take back our city." Similar scenarios unfolded in occupied cities around the world. Humanity, long beaten down but never broken, rose up in mass against their alien oppressors. The Nexians, stripped of their technological advantage, found themselves facing the full fury of a species fighting for its very existence. At the Alpha site, Captain Chen watched the events unfold with a mixture of pride and trepidation. "Status report," she barked. "Phoenix is performing beyond expectations, Captain," Dr. Emerson replied, his eyes glued to streams of incoming data. "We're successfully neutralizing 93% of Nexian tech within the field's range." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "And the remaining 7%? Mostly their most basic systems, life support, emergency propulsion. Enough to ensure we're not committing wholesale slaughter, but not enough for them to pose a significant threat." This had been a key point of debate in planning the counterattack. Despite the atrocities committed by the Nexians, Chen and the other resistance leaders had insisted on a measured response. They would drive the invaders off Earth, but they would not stoop to genocide in the process. In Geneva, Dr. Rodriguez and Zaxlor led a daring raid on the former Nexian embassy, now serving as the invaders' primary European headquarters. With Phoenix neutralizing the building's formidable defenses, they were able to capture a wealth of strategic information and several high-ranking Nexian officials. "Belina," Zaxlor called out, gesturing to a secure terminal he'd accessed. "I found something. It's a direct link to the Nexian homeworld." Rodriguez's eyes widened. "Can you get a message through?" The Nexian scientist nodded, his fingers flying over the alien keyboard. "I'm bypassing their standard protocols, connecting directly to the Council of Elders. It's time they learned the truth about this invasion." As Zaxlor worked to expose the deception behind the attack on Earth, the tide of battle continued to turn. Nexian ships fell from the skies, their once impenetrable hulls cracked open by weapons reverse-engineered from their own technology. On the ground, human resistance fighters reclaimed city after city, their determination more than a match for the now vulnerable alien troops. But the Nexians were not defeated yet. As news of the successful human counterattack spread through their ranks, the invaders regrouped. Those ships and ground forces outside the range of Project Phoenix's influence launched a desperate offensive, hoping to knock out the source of humanity's newfound power before it was too late. "Multiple bogies incoming," a technician at the Alpha site shouted. "They found us." Captain Chen's face hardened. Activate secondary defenses. Dr. Emerson, what's the status of the Phoenix field? Holding stable, but we're detecting attempts to breach the quantum network. They're trying to brute force their way through. Can they succeed? Emerson shook his head. Not quickly. But if they throw enough resources at it, eventually they might find a way to disrupt the field. Chen nodded grimly. Then we need to end this before they get that chance. Patch me through to all resistance channels. Taking a deep breath, the captain addressed the defenders of Earth. This is Captain Chen. The Nexians are launching a final desperate assault on our position. We need to hold the line. Every minute we keep Project Phoenix operational is another minute our forces around the world can push back the invaders. Stand firm. Fight with everything you have. The fate of our planet depends on it. As she finished speaking, the first wave of Nexian ships appeared on the horizon. The battle for the Alpha Site and the future of Earth had begun. In orbit, the few remaining human military satellites engaged in a deadly dance with Nexian capital ships. On the ground, resistance fighters dug in, ready to defend Project Phoenix with their lives. At the Geneva embassy, Dr. Rodriguez and Zaxlor finally managed to establish communication with the Nexian homeworld. The Council of Elders appeared on screen, their ancient faces etched with confusion and growing anger as Zaxlor explained the true nature of the Earth invasion. This unauthorized aggression must cease immediately, the lead elder declared. We will send envoys at once to negotiate a peaceful resolution. But even as hope for a diplomatic solution grew, the battle raged on. The Nexian invasion force, now cut off from their leadership and facing a unified Earth, fought with the desperation of those who knew their cause was lost. As the sun set on the first day of humanity's resurrection, the outcome still hung in the balance. Project Phoenix had given Earth a fighting chance, but the war was far from over. The next few hours would determine the fate of both species. At the Alpha Site, Captain Chen coordinated a desperate defense against wave after wave of Nexian attacks. The quantum field generated by Project Phoenix wavered under the assault, flickering ominously as Nexian scientists threw everything they had at disrupting the revolutionary technology. We're losing cohesion in sectors 3 and 7. Dr. Emerson shouted over the din of battle. His hands flew across holographic displays, making minute adjustments to stabilize the field. Chen gritted her teeth. Divert power from non-essential systems. We need to hold out just a little longer. Outside, the night sky blazed with weapons fire. Human fighters, their capabilities enhanced by Phoenix tech, darted between lumbering Nexian cruisers. On the ground, soldiers and civilians alike manned hastily erected barricades, determined to protect the heart of Earth's resistance. Meanwhile, in Geneva, Dr. Rodriguez and Zaxlor worked feverishly to leverage their communication breakthrough with the Nexian Council of Elders. We need to get them to issue a stand-down order to the invasion fleet. Elena insisted, her voice hoarse from hours of tense negotiation. Zaxlor nodded, his alien features set in grim determination. The Council is preparing a quantum-entangled transmission. It should cut through any attempts by the invasion leaders to block communications. As they waited for the Council's message to be sent, Elena's thoughts turned to the wider battle. I hope we're not too late, she murmured. Back at the Alpha Site, the situation was growing dire. The Nexian assault had redoubled, focusing all their firepower on the mountain that housed Project Phoenix. The quantum field flickered more frequently now, gaps appearing in Earth's defensive network. Captain, Major Reeves called out, his voice tight with stress. We've got incoming bogeys, too many to count. They're throwing everything they have at us. Chen's mind raced, searching for options. They were outgunned and outnumbered, but surrender wasn't an option. Earth had come too far, sacrificed too much, to give up now. Just as all seemed lost, a blinding light filled the sky. For a moment, both humans and Nexians paused in their battle, shielding their eyes from the glare. When it faded, A massive ship unlike any they'd seen before hung in the air above the Alpha site. "This is High Elder Zek's era of the Nexian Confederation," a voice boomed, translated simultaneously into every language on Earth. "By order of the Council, all hostilities are to cease immediately. The invasion of Earth is hereby declared illegal and unauthorized." A stunned silence fell over the battlefield. Then, slowly, Nexian ships began to power down their weapons. On the ground, alien soldiers lowered their arms, looking to their commanders in confusion. Inside the Alpha site, Chen and her team watched in disbelief as the Nexian forces began to retreat. Dr. Emerson laughed, a sound of pure relief and joy. "We did it," he said, his voice filled with wonder. "We actually did it." But Chen's relief was tempered by caution. "Stay alert," she ordered. "This isn't over until every last Nexian ship has left our solar system." As the hours passed, the reality of Earth's victory began to sink in. Around the globe, humans emerged from hiding, blinking in the sunlight of a world suddenly free from alien oppression. The process of rebuilding could begin. In Geneva, Dr. Rodriguez and Zaxlor were hailed as heroes for their role in ending the conflict. As they watched Nexian ships depart Earth's atmosphere, Alina turned to her alien friend. "What happens now?" she asked. Zaxlor's multifaceted eyes reflected the starry sky. "Now," he said slowly, "we have a chance to build something new. A true partnership between our peoples, based on mutual understanding and respect." Alina nodded, hope blossoming in her chest for the first time in months. "I'd like that," she said softly. As dawn broke on a new era for humanity, Captain Chen stood atop the Alpha site, watching the last Nexian ships vanish into the depths of space. The war was over, but she knew that the real work was just beginning. Earth had proven itself a force to be reckoned with, and its place in the galactic community would never be the same. A new era for humanity. In the months following the Nexian retreat, Earth underwent a transformation unlike any in its history. The process of rebuilding was daunting, but humanity attacked the challenge with the same determination that had won them the war. Captain Sarah Chen, hailed as one of the heroes of the resistance, found herself thrust into a new role, Earth's first ambassador to the galactic community. As she prepared for her first address to the Galactic Council, she couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey that had brought her to this point. "You ready for this?" Dr. Samuel Emerson asked, straightening Chen's formal uniform. The physicist had become one of her closest friends and advisors in the post-war period. Chen took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "As ready as I'll ever be. Hard to believe we've come this far in such a short time." Indeed, the changes had been swift and far-reaching. Project Phoenix, once Earth's secret weapon, had been adapted for peaceful purposes. Its quantum entanglement technology revolutionized global communications and paved the way for humanity's first faster-than-light spacecraft. Dr. Alina Rodriguez led the scientific exchange program with the Nexian Confederation, working alongside Zaxlor to ensure that the sharing of knowledge benefited both species. Their efforts had already yielded breakthroughs in medicine, clean energy, and environmental restoration. As Chen stepped onto the stage, before the assembled representatives of 100 alien races, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. The cavernous chamber fell silent, all eyes on the representative of the galaxy's newest recognized civilization. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Chen began, her voice steady and clear. "I come before you today not just as a representative of Earth, but as a voice for all species who have faced adversity and emerged stronger for it." She went on to recount the story of the Nexian invasion and Earth's ultimate triumph, emphasizing not the conflict itself, but the lessons learned from it. "We stand here today not as conquerors, but as partners. The technology that saved our world has now opened up the stars to us. We are eager to take our place among you, to learn, to share, and to work together towards a brighter future for all sentient beings." As Chen spoke, screens around the chamber displayed images of Earth's recovery and its rapid advancement. Gleaming cities rose from the ashes of war, incorporating both human ingenuity and alien technology. The first human Nexian hybrid spacecraft launched from a restored Cape Canaveral, embarking on a mission of peaceful exploration. But we have not forgotten the cost of war, Chen continued, her tone growing solemn. Earth proposes the establishment of a new Galactic Peace Corps, dedicated to preventing conflicts before they begin and providing aid to worlds in crisis. The proposal was met with murmurs of approval from many council members. Chen could see nods of agreement, even from races that had initially been skeptical of humanity's readiness for galactic citizenship. As she concluded her speech, Chen felt a swell of pride for how far her people had come. Today marks not just Earth's entry into the galactic community, but the beginning of a new chapter for all of us. Together, we can build a future brighter than any single world could achieve alone. The chamber erupted in applause. Representatives from dozens of worlds rose to their feet, signaling their acceptance of Earth as a full member of the Galactic Council. As Chen left the stage, she was greeted by a familiar face. Zaxlor, now serving as the Nexian ambassador, offered a gesture of respect. "You've done your people proud, Captain Chen. The galaxy will be better for humanity's presence." Chen smiled, clasping the alien's hand in a gesture of friendship that would have been unthinkable just a year ago. "We've all come a long way, Ambassador. I'm looking forward to seeing where we go from here." In the years that followed, humanity continued to make its mark on galactic affairs. Earth became a hub of innovation, its unique blend of determination and creativity driving advancements in science, technology, and diplomacy. The Galactic Peace Corps, under the joint leadership of human and alien coordinators, successfully prevented several interstellar conflicts and provided crucial aid to worlds facing natural disasters and other crises. Project Phoenix evolved into a galaxy-wide quantum communication network, fostering understanding and cooperation between even the most distant civilizations. Dr. Rodriguez and Zaxlor's work led to the creation of the first truly multi-species university, where beings from across the galaxy came together to learn and exchange ideas. And Captain Sarah Chen, the woman who had helped lead humanity from the brink of extinction to the heights of galactic influence, watched it all with a sense of wonder and purpose. Standing on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's first off-world colony, Chen gazed out at the star-filled expanse. A small smile played on her lips as she thought about the incredible journey that had brought humanity to this point. The Nexian invasion, for all its horror and destruction, had ultimately been the crucible in which humanity's true potential was forged. They had faced their greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but enlightened. As a ship bearing the insignia of the Galactic Peace Corps departed the station, bound for a distant world in need, Chen felt a surge of optimism for the future. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through conquest or subjugation, but through resilience, innovation, and an unwavering commitment to forging a better tomorrow. The age of isolation was over. Earth's children would make their mark on the cosmos, not as conquerors, but as partners, explorers, and peacekeepers. And Sarah Chen, once a captain fighting a desperate war, now stood as a symbol of all that humanity could achieve when it reached for the stars with open hands and open hearts. As she turned to attend yet another diplomatic meeting, Chen allowed herself a quiet moment of reflection. "Look how far we've come," she whispered to herself, "and just imagine how far we'll go." The future, vast and bright, as the galaxy itself, beckoned. And humanity, tempered by adversity and driven by an indomitable spirit, was ready to answer its call.